Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's review, the Mellif power inverter, DC to AC. Let's get into it. So guys, before I start the video, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone that's commented on my previous videos. Basically, we started at Christmas with a new channel, and myself and my partner and friends and family and things like that, like yourselves, you see these products all over the internet. Wow, the latest craze, and this has come out, or that new toys come out, or that new gizmos come out, and we've all fallen into the trap of you buy it and it literally you get it out of the box and it breaks, or it lasts 2 minutes. It's poor quality, it's cheap, it don't work, it blows up. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's commented, liked, shared the page, talked on the comments, subscribed to the channel. We are new, we're only a couple of weeks old, and it just shows me that the comments that I've had about the reviews and stuff that we're doing, I'm doing something right. Again, we are a new channel, and I don't want to get into that routine of, because someone's paying me to do stuff, or I'm getting sponsorship, things like that. We're not doing any of that. We're doing good, honest reviews. So I don't want, we're not biased on one way, either way. It's either good or it's bad. We're not going to do that. We're not going to try and promote something that's complete garbage to sell it, to line our pockets. We're not going to do that. This is the whole point of this channel. Good, honest reviews. If the product's crap, that's just our opinion, and I'll show you why. And if you still want to buy the product, that's fine. We've all got our own opinions and choices in life. I'm just trying to be that extra step before you buy that item that I review. Have a look at the videos, see what you think. If you've got any more specifications, or you want to know what else it comes with, or is there any way it could work another way, or whatever sort of item it is, if it comes in different colors, the specs, the sizes, or any sort of review we've done, please comment below, and I'll do my best to try and find any more information that I don't have, or if I can look back in manuals or spec sheets. Can even go back to the supplier on some things about the products. So just want to say a massive thank you again. I appreciate all the love and support for this channel, and without further ado, let's get into it. So guys, I've been sent in this by a company, and I've been after one of these for a while myself. Now the great little items, providing that they are well built. Packaging's not the best, to be fair. I've had a pre-look at this already. That's basically how it comes. So don't expect much packaging when it comes in the post. Now it does come from China, so again, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. 200 watts DC to AC power inverter, USB 200 watts, DC 18 volt to AC 220 volt. So far impressions are pretty good on this. It's pretty solid metal, screws are decent. You can always tell good quality when they have decent screws. That's the outlet. You have 220, USB, and a decent on-off switch. Not one of these crappy rocker switches that just, they just don't switch off properly and it can overload it. You also have a fan on the back for overheating, which is brilliant. You should always have these, really, because these do and can get really hot. Now these adapters are for, again, Makita battery, which is what I like to see. Now I've been trying to find something for a while now. If there is an emergency, or something's happened, flooding, or your power's been cut out, or something like that, most tradesmen and DIYists and things like that all have some sort of battery in the drills, a load in the van. And I've always thought of things, they do power banks and things like that, but what can we utilize that we already have on us? And a lot of the time, most of the time I've got my drills always charged anyway and things like that. So I've always got usable power in some shape or form. But over the last year, trying to look for something like this, I've never found anything quite like charging from 18 volt. They've never really done anything that converts the power from a battery from a tool to 200 watts, or any sort of inverter power. So I've always thought it's a pretty good idea, and I'll show you why. Because a lot of people, they get quite worried when they go, oh, well, it's only 200 watts. What's it going to power? It's not really going to power much at all. And I've wrote a list. Now, for everyone out there, I'd like everyone just to take a minute and realize how much you can actually get in your house from 200 watts. The most, how can I put this? The most usable power. And I'd like everyone just to go around the house and check the plugs, back of your appliances, your TVs, your Wi-Fi, fridges, freezers, things like that. And you'll realize how much you can actually use off 200 watts. The only thing that really eats energy in a house, and especially in mine, as I've noticed, is the kettle and the dryer. Now, the kettle, if you're going to want boiling water in 60 to 90-ish seconds, it's going to drink energy. That's just physics. We can't change that at all. Average kettles in the UK, they're around about 3,000 watts, 3 kilowatts. They do take a lot of juice. Now, something like this isn't going to power that, okay? It's not really meant for this. It's meant for smaller items. Things like dryers and stuff, they can range from about 3 to 5 kilowatts, so they do take a lot of juice. So they're the two main items in my household that really sap energy. So I'd like everyone to just take a minute and go around your house and see what your appliances are actually using in the wattage form. Now, if you don't have many appliances where they're on the back of the plugs, normally you'll get like a little label that sticks off the cable that tells you all the little details of what it is, where it's come from, wattage it uses, things like that. Buy one of these. Now, a lot of my appliances have been in a while. Once you've used your items and your appliances, you just end up chucking them away. No one wants the boxes lying around. So I brought one of these. Now, these are off eBay. They're about £6. So basically, you just plug this into the wall and you'll plug your appliance through this, and you'll let your appliance do a normal cycle. So, i.e., if your kettle's on, turn it on, your kettle will come on, this will automatically turn on. It'll tell you, 2.5 kilowatts while it's boiling up, and then it'll go to 3 to finish it off the cycle. Do it a couple of times, and then you'll realize the averaging what it'll be. I've used this quite a lot around my house, and I've worked out the differences between what takes a lot of energy and what don't. Now, I've wrote a list out because a lot of people will say, again, it's not really much power coming from this little battery. Now, I've gone around, and this, forget the writing, guys, sorry, I'm not very educated, dropped out of school, all that lot. Slow cooker, 180 watts, so that'll power that. So if I've got no power in the house, my fan assisted oven, that's gone. Electric hob, things like that, you've got no power. If you've got a slow cooker, you can cook in that. And obviously the gas, if you've got a gas supply. 18 watt light bulbs. This will power 10 of them, about 180 watts maximum. This will still power 10 of your house light bulbs, your energy saving light bulbs. Wi-Fi, between 5 and 20 watts. It's nothing. TV, 50 to 100 watts. So in fairness, if you've got a TV that's even taking the maximum amount of wattage, and your Wi-Fi is still only taking 20 watts maximum, 120 watts, you've still got 80 watts free that this can power. So overall, if you've got nothing to watch, you can stick on a DVD, put Netflix on, things like that, providing that obviously the internet provider and the power and everything down the wherever the boxes are and things like that down the road are still working. But it just gives you an idea. Phones, 5 watts, you could charge loads of them up. Laptops, 50 watts. Hair clippers, they're only 11 watts. You can still cut your hair. Small fridge, now the small fridge is 180 watts. Now, big fridge freezers, no, it won't power them. They're between anything between 2 to 400-ish watts. You know, some of the big American ones, it's a no-go. It won't even power it. It'll just trip and fade out. But your small little worktop ones, it'll power these all day long. They generally don't take that much power. Once the compressor kicks in, it's got to temperature. It's great for that. And string lights, Christmas lights, things like that. You've got any festoon lighting in your garden, things like that. It'll power it all. So I think overall, this is a great item. I've always wanted to try and find something that if in the event of emergency, I can always convert something that my drills in my van will charge something. In the event of emergency, you really always want at least a phone and some access to some sort of internet to see what's going off, your local news, your weather stations, things like that. And when I got offered the chance to review this, I thought, what a great little item. Everyone always has power drills, and these things don't just come from Makita batteries as well. They come from various others. I've seen them for Ryobi. DeWalt do their own version. I think Milwaukee do one as well. So they're not forever. They don't even have to be for the professional. I think they're just a great all-round item. And, you know, in the event of emergency, you can power laptops and iPads and things like that. Keep the kids interested. It's not going to be foolproof on everything. It never will. But I thought for something like this, just for even 200 watts, people don't realise how much 200 watts around your house can actually power. It's quite a lot, to be fair. Again, there's only really 2 or 3, including your cooker, that takes actually a lot of juice in the house. And providing you've got your basic preparedness in any way, which is obviously, you know, even if you get a little gas stove, just keep it in the shed out of the way for a rainy day. You never know. The UK at the minute just seems to be flooding everywhere all the time. You know, I'm getting it at work at the minute when I'm driving around here, there, and everywhere. It just floods after floods. You're getting diverted all the time. Things are starting to play havoc with stuff. I've seen it where power grids failing at the minute. You know, your electric's going down. Traffic lights and stuff are just failing all the time. It's just causing a havoc at the minute. But I thought I'd do a review on this because it's actually really good. Made really well. I highly recommend getting one of these just for some extra power. Because if you don't have power banks and things like that on hand, but you also have power tools and stuff that have always got a bit of charge in them, for emergencies, you can always charge your phone up. And I think that's a great little item, especially if you've got, you know, you've got kids and stuff or you're out camping. This is always good. It's not too big. It is really small. You could just stick it in the box and just go camping with it. And if you've always got access to the internet and stuff, you've always got access to weather and local problems in your area. I just think it's a great little item. Definitely one to be having in and keeping. Now, after doing a few testing on this myself, there's only one little issue that I've found. Is the only problem I've found with this, and I've tried to overload this. I've tried to cook it. I've tried to put the kettle through it and everything. And all it does is it flashes up red, comes up with a little fault. There's a little red LED there, comes up with fault. And then all of a sudden it just resets. And I think that's great. But the only issue I've actually found with this product is that when you go to turn it off, and if you can see that, guys, when you go to turn it off, it's still on. Now, looking at the instructions, what's happening is it's still taking power from the battery. This unit doesn't work. So when you turn this off, all this turns off and your USB, whatever you've plugged in them, turns off. It still takes power from the battery, unfortunately. Don't know if the newer models or anything like that or different manufacturers have literally, you know, found a way how to isolate the battery off that. But that is the only issue I found with this product. And it's a shame, really, because it's a little thing. But, you know, if it's in an emergency or you're going camping and things like that, it's still, you know, it's still using power. And that's a bit of a shame. It might not be a lot of power, but over a night, it might drain the battery. And if you really need it, or, you know, you're you're someone that lives in a van, or you go away and travel in your van a lot and things like that, and it's just a shame really that the power stays on. But that's the only little gripe I've got about this. Now it does say 200 watts, but I have put 240 through this watts, and it seems to manage it. Some things it do and some things it don't. But on the actual instructions, I'll read a few little things out. So it says, caution, don't operate the 18 volt power inverter if hands are wet. That's obvious because you can still get a shock. Keep away from children, definitely advised to do that one. Do not disassemble, yeah, just don't even bother. This does come with a 2-year guarantee, guys. It is a limited one, but 2 years is better than nothing. Just goes to show that they have a bit of faith in this product. USB is for charging only, which is fair dues. That's all you generally use it for anyway. And always use the proper charging cables. Yeah, again, try to keep to decent chargers, guys. And if you've got iPhones and Androids, please make sure you use the proper cables. Don't use the cheap ones that are about £2 off Temu and all that. Make sure you do use the decent stuff. If this quality is going to give you a guarantee, then you know full well it's pretty decent, and you've got to really be careful, especially when you're converting power from I think there's about 10 18650 batteries in this ish, 10 to 15 converted down. Obviously you're putting a lot of power through this is converting a lot into something small, going through a thin cable. Please make sure you do use the proper cables for the application. That's one thing I definitely would advise on. Input voltage, yeah, we know DC 18 volts. AC obviously output will be 220 volts, 230 volts. Yeah, and peak watts 400. That's when it will roughly trip out, guys. If you can see that, if it's zooming in. Now again, please do not put this nowhere near water. Don't put any applications of mobile showers and things like that have little 12 volt pumps and things if you're camping with it. Highly advised, do not do that. Do not put this thing near water. It's not waterproof. Keep it away from the rain, things like that. Keep it in your van, keep it in your car, keep it in your house. Just do not let this exposed. Once this is converted to 240, guys, that's dangerous. It won't shock you under normal conditions of usage, but please just bear in mind this is a portable appliance, and you are at risk of electric shock if you maluse it, unfortunately, and do it wrong. You've got to do it properly and stay safe with it, guys. But this, I think, is a great little item. I will definitely be using this loads, even if it's just on site. And I just want to plug in something. I think even get away with a little 12 volt kettle on this. I'll try that on the next one and see how we get on. But I think it's good. Again, you can charge your phone on site and things like that. And it's just the added bonus of, whereas in my other video where I did the USB one that just clicks in, it has 2 USBs. This just gives you the added advantage of 240 volt power for any little application. Not a lot of laptops come with USBs and stuff. So it's just nice to have a plug that you can plug it in, and have your phone separate as well at the same time. So yeah, I think it's great. Let's go to testing. Forgot to mention, guys, that these roughly range from about 20-ish to £30 in general. You can find them all over on eBay, Facebook, Marketplace. A lot of people are selling these now from shops and stuff. Amazon do them. I've seen these on TikTok as well. They come in different sizes and obviously shapes. The new modified ones actually go on top of the battery and there's no cable anymore. Again, there's many variations of this product, just depending on how you want it. From makes to models. I know they do DeWalt ones now, Makita, Milwaukee ones, Ryobi, things like that. Well worthwhile investing in them. Most of them are 200 watts around about. But definitely go and check them out, even if it's not this product. Just in general, of the overall idea of them, they're absolutely brilliant. I think they're great.